Start us off.
3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to Dualcast. With Drac and Larry?
Sit down and join us for a spell, as we will eventually get that intro right. It's only our second week. Give us a break.
Yes.
It's all good. Today we are joined by...
I'm sorry. I'm already messing it up. Okay,
we're going to try not to be as janky with the cameras for those of you watching the VOD later, so we've taken into account your criticism. But today, special guest Corey / Astes, correct?
Astis.
We just had a discussion of like whether or not like how people mispronounce his name, and I make fun of it all the time. So yeah, this is the tank. He has been a tank the entire time we've been raiding for our YouTube channel. He is the cleaver. He is the one that puts milk before the cereal. He is...
Look at him. That is the face of somebody who puts milk before the cereal.
Isn't it magnificent?
Just the worst. Just the absolute worst. So we had to make sure that we got a good picture of him there. But yes, this is Corey. Say hi, Corey.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're prepared to die.
I said say hi, Corey, not hello, everybody.
Oh, hi, Corey.
All right. What are we going to talk about, Drac?
Today we are going to be doing the going over the live letter LV. I don't know what that is in Roman numerals, but it is over patch 5.1, and I really wish that we got some more details some places, but at the same time we got some really detailed stuff in others. So we're gonna start with the stuff that we know. First off, going over some of the job changes.
Oh, we're gonna start off right away with the job change.
Yes. Actually, let me look at our document real quick.
Pull that up.
Yeah. Just making sure that we have that.
I got it.
Oh, so Corey's been here for the past few days. He got here on Sunday morning. That was a very tiring day because we couldn't go back to sleep until that night after we picked him up. And Larry and Eva invited us out to go bowling, which we'd never done since they've been here. So
Never gone bowling before?
Not here, no.
Ever in the world?
Well, not with you. No, never. This is the first time in the world that we've gone bowling with you.
My mic was muted. Everything was terrible. My mic was muted.
Well,
not this whole time though.
Well,
only part of it.
Well, I'm glad that your little sassy bitchness wasn't got on the
mic. Man, I'm so disappointed.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
This is why you lost at bowling. So
I didn't lose.
I was the winner.
It was basically a 3-way tie.
Yeah,
with all three of us, we had a 3-way tie. Which, by the way, when you see us looking this way, we're looking at Corey, who is right here.
Exactly.
This is what he looks like.
Yeah,
so.
that's the center camera.
Yeah.
What they don't say is Drac may have won the first game, but Larry and I came behind strong with games 2 and 3 and put Drac in the dust.
Yeah. Okay, but we're looking at like total games. It was a shutout in the first game, and then you never recovered after that.
We did, because you got progressively worse.
I did get really bad.
You just
it
kept
hurt
missing.
My thumb so much when we were doing that, and I just by the end I was like gutter balling, and that didn't happen the entire time.
I progressively got better.
Same.
Near the end I was just like I got 3 whole strikes.
You did
in the last one.
You did. That was pretty impressive.
I worked really hard on that.
I got 2 at the first game, and then it just kind of went down from there. I think at the last frame of the last game, I had gotten a strike to start, gutter ball, and then I hit a few pins after that, but it wasn't a very good run. Oh, they were very rough.
That's my bowling career in general.
So
what you just described. So
yeah, yes. Last week, if you guys were not here, if you guys want to check out that VOD or listen to it on we're on Spotify now, and we got approved for Apple Podcasts. So those are 2
so
options.
Official.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna have those options in the description on YouTube, or if you're already listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you don't need me to tell you this because you're already there. So in any case, that will be the links down there below in the description will lead you to those areas if you want to listen on mobile or whatever, or follow along. Last week we did kind of our experience with getting better at Final Fantasy, how we recommend people do it, what the game probably should tell you but doesn't, and the tools in place that probably need a little bit of work in order for people to really get better. We want to see the overall community improve at the game so that they can enjoy the game, because it's already.
I hate this game. I just. He's talking about making people want to enjoy the game. I'm just like, I hate this game. He's just sipping water. Okay.
Is that why you died and stopped making videos? Because you hate it?
Yeah, I hate
You
this
hate
game.
it.
No,
You-
no,
official,
okay. No, too far
official
now.
lore. Official lore now. I put it on Reddit. Larry hates the game.
Shit. All right. So speaking of hating the game, let's talk about the live letter.
we'll get to that. So we're gonna start off with some happy things that spark joy,
Right.
and then we're going to go a little bit further down into the depths of despair. Which now
What?
I'm here happy. Now I was here in Stormblood when it came to monk stuff, and then Larry was here with like summoner stuff, and then we kind of
Swap.
did a swap this expansion.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was still about here until they announced the changes to monk.
Oh yeah, when they fixed
Recently.
everything about Monk.
They fixed like everything. So happy about that. It's really good stuff. So yeah, let's go into it. I think that covers everything that I wanted to
in the
touch on
in
first.
the beginning.
Yeah, the introduction, so to speak. So samurai changes.
Uh-huh.
How are you feeling about that? Since you are
I
being samurai
do
right now.
I do play samurai right now in raid, which if people didn't know, the reason why I play samurai is because my static, we already had a caster, so the only spot that we needed was a melee, and it was like, okay, if I'm gonna be melee, I'm gonna be Dragoon, but Yoma was Dragoon, so I couldn't be Dragoon, so I'm like, okay, second choice would be samurai. Uses a sword. I like swords,
So
so
now I get to write another fan fiction about why
Yeah.
you switched to samurai. instead of-
no.
I have it on these Google Docs right now. I can just post it in chat.
Wait, really?
Jeez.
It's
Yeah.
in the same thing? Oh,
Not in
no.
this Google Doc, but it's
Okay.
in my docs. I just saw it recently, so I can just post that to everybody.
Oh,
Why
good.
the breakup between Larry-san and Bahamut-chan?
Man, I'll still always play summoner, you guys. I'll still always play it no matter what, even when it's bad.
Even when it's bad.
Which
Even when
it
you hate
is.
it.
You're stronger
Yeah,
than I am.
Even when I hate it. So, I mean, the samurai changes are like, first off, I feel like we need a list to go back and look at all of them because I'm trying how to remember all of them. But it was like the big thing was, of course, potency changes, and then the Shoha change was like the really big one that they listed out, which was they're changing how Shoha works, where you can get it in order to use Shoha in the first place. They're saying like you're gonna need 3 stacks of meditation
Correct.
to even use it, and it's like a 400 potency attack or whatever. It's just flat potency. And you can get those stacks of meditation now from using your EI jutsus. Well, actually, no, just Midare, I think. Or was it any EI jutsu?
I sent you a list
I
of the
believe it's-
5.1
oh, you
changes.
you
on
got
Discord.
it? Okay.
Are those all, okay? Those
Yeah.
are all of them. I was
As
about
far
to
as
go
I'm,
into
this
the...
is for the class ones, as
Yeah.
far as I'm aware.
Oh,
The
okay,
class
okay.
changes.
I was about to pull up the Discord page because it was
Yeah,
NEA
this is it.
Jutsu, I believe, then Meditate, obviously, and gosh, now I forgot the third one.
Meditation is granted from Meditate, EI jutsu, and Tsubami Geshi.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the 1 cent opener, you'll have Shohas now in your opener.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. Actually, if you get it from EI jutsus, Tsubami Geshi, and Meditate, yeah, because you would do the dot, and then you would do the Midare, and then the Tsubami Geshi. So right after that, you could do a Shoha right in the opener. That's
Yep.
exciting.
Right there.
I
And
get to
then-
use it.
And then if you have regen on you, then you can cheese a meditate tick and then have that going, periodically. So that's
Yes,
cool.
sometimes.
I like that they made it something, because I was thinking something similar to Chakra with Monk, but obviously not everybody enjoys the RNG of that. So this being a guaranteed part of your rotation is really cool,
Yeah.
because now you get it and it's more of an active part of your rotation. Now Samurai's like really bursty
Mm-hmm.
because what's the potency of it right now?
I mean, it's always been bursty, you know, but even more bursty.
Yeah,
I
like,
guess.
because it
Guaranteed bursty
right.
too.
So like aside from just having like Shoha as a thing, you have Setsugeka twice.
Yeah,
you have
and then a Shoha.
Sene, and now you have Shoha.
Right.
All those huge attacks.
Yeah, right away.
Right. In your opener. That's going to be insane.
Oh, you're making me all excited.
Right? So happy times, happy thoughts.
do you play Samurai, Corey?
Not at all.
Oh wait.
Okay.
Mine is level 54.
They actually fixed it at 400 potency? Okay, so it's not going to be
Yeah,
it increases now.
It's going to be a flat potency because you need the 3 meditate to even use it in the first place.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it uses all of them up.
Okay. Oh, okay. So not quite as bursty as I thought, because I was thinking that they keep it at the 1200. I didn't see the potency fix.
Okay.
That would have been nuts.
I mean, it's definitely nice.
It's not.
But
Yeah,
that would be
attack,
very big.
off global attack.
Yeah.
So those were always really good.
Right.
Always really good.
And then even if they didn't do this change, like that change, like in terms of like potency wise for that change, I don't really care too much. Like saying like, oh, this will make it do more damage. It's just play style wise, it's more interesting.
Yeah.
It's like an extra thing to do in the rotation now and worry about. So that's just more fun. But then in addition to that, they're doing potency increases. So I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
because I mean, Samurai should be the Black Mage counterpart on melee, because it's not giving anything to the party, so it needs to make up for that in its personal DPS, which Monk is doing in spades right now. It's just ridiculous how much it's doing.
mm-hmm.
So I need to talk to Ryo. I can switch back now anytime.
Is this
I'm totally fine with it.
Is this where they were using the terminology of increasing its power? They keep using this terminology throughout the whole thing. I think they did it here. They were like increase or power output or something. They kept firepower. That's the word they use. They always say increase its firepower.
Monk's firepower will retain. Mantra's too strong. Slight adjustments.
That's so funny.
Leave it alone. It's fine. It's fine. 30%
funny.
extra healing. It's more than whatever the wings are.
Yeah, nothing hits that hard in this raid tier anyways.
Yeah.
Except for Titan is pretty hard.
Shoha, they said that you'll be using Shoha once every like 40 seconds, and that's probably about right, because it's every time you do your Madare, and then also whenever you're refreshing your dot too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be pretty often. And then the other thing that actually kind of worried me was the Tsubami Geishi change, that it's going to be affected by skill speed. And I was actually kind of confused by that, because they said that would help it align better, but the sound of that makes it sound like it won't align better. It'll
have to
be weird.
See, because I think a lot of people are looking towards the opportunity to have skill speed builds. And so I've been like gearing up crit, because I've been gearing up my monk.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm ready to hit my boot shines.
Yeah.
You know, get those massive leaden fists.
Crit the boot shine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, and I'm like, oh, but skill speed's really good now on Samurai, and I don't want to make 2 different sets, because my inventory's already.
Well, that's what happens, Drake.
It's really full.
It's the same thing with Caster. If you play Black Mage and Somebody,
That's true.
2 completely different sets.
That's true.
That's
why I didn't do it.
I think there already is a skill speed build for Samurai though, but it's just like
it's going to be more beneficial.
It'll be like from this change, it'll probably be even more so. Like you probably want to. I would guesstimate. I'm not a theory crafter, but I would guesstimate that because of that change specifically, it's gonna heighten skill speed builds even more. But I guess we'll have to see.
I hope so. But right now, it's looking very promising. For me, I'm excited about it. And I'm looking forward to having it in my back pocket, because then I think I would be able to just get I would need the E4 weapons for all of them now.
Yeah.
Because the E4 weapon has skill speed, and I wasn't going to go for it because it had...
does it?
I'm pretty sure it's the E4 one that has skill speed.
I mean, the E4 is going to be the best weapon anyway, so...
Well, not for everyone. I think some of the tome ones are okay.
Better than a 475 weapon, really?
Oh, are they 5 over?
They're 5
now?
over. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's no way.
I'm used to them screwing up with the
substats, messing it up.
well, with the substats, yes, because I won't take the tome weapon because I lose 400 spell speed right now for my black mage.
Oh,
which is
yeah,
horrible. But no, when they made the Eureka weapon go up to raid weapon, so I'm thinking that they're on the same level now. I haven't gotten a Titan weapon yet, so I haven't been able to see the glory of it. I didn't really pay attention to it either. So
no, this is something that they said for samurai and other jobs too. But for samurai, they said usability of the job will increase for the better.
hopefully,
What does that mean? What does usability
I really
mean?
hate to say it because it's super shady, but I don't trust them.
I don't either when they say that.
Because I don't think a lot of them know. I think that they've designed Samurai really well, and it plays really well right now. But they are also not always on the mark when it comes to what the players want.
Right.
And I tried to get that across in my interview, and it didn't go very well.
So,
But
I think for that,
Yeah.
the usability, I think they're lowering the skill floor a little bit to make it more approachable for people who have like not played it. So like somebody like me, I've not played Samurai. Mine's at 54. I've done like Beast Tribes to to get it up, but that's really the extent of it, and I don't know what like most of the stuff is. And I think some of the changes they're going through might make it better for me and people like me to like get into it, because it's a very different job compared to the other ones.
You
with,
mean
like,
the other
set and the
melee?
combo, yeah,
You mean-
because it feels like very different, and that's why I haven't played it.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
it's so foreign. I'm like, I don't know how to approach this
Uh-huh.
with the way I think about the game. I'm like, I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna leave it alone. So maybe
Okay.
they're kind of like bringing it a little bit more in line with everything else on how it like feels to play.
See, that's kind of what I worry about a little bit, just because I feel like the jobs overall, even from last expansion, have the majority of them become more usable, in their words. So, I mean, yeah, because they add new things, but other things become simpler. So, I don't know. I whenever they say that improve the usability, I get a little scared. Just because
That's fair.
I don't want it to become too easy, because there is a too easy.
yeah. Definitely.
So,
So
because
I'm
then it just
hoping
becomes
they
boring.
kind of like retain the complexity, but I don't know. I've not played it, so I don't know what I'm hoping for it. I'm just like, maybe
Yeah.
I'll try it out.
Yeah, to make it more open to people, I'm always up for that. Yeah, definitely. What's the next job we're gonna talk about? The one I don't want to talk about?
Yeah, we gotta do it, Larry. We gotta get into it. So
Okay.
you have your tissues.
Yeah, I've got my tissues.
So moving on to the summoner changes, and I'll go ahead and let Larry take this because I never knew really how to play summoner. It was always felt like I was playing it wrong, and summoner mains would give me crap for not knowing how to play it when I first picked it up. So I was just like, whatever, screw it. I'm not gonna bother. Even
While
though it
you
looked
were
really
streaming,
cool.
you mean?
When I'm streaming or like in a party and stuff, and like
They'll be like, you're doing it wrong.
yeah, or oh my gosh, I can't believe you're using this, or where's this? Why aren't you using
Why
that?
are you using Titan?
Yeah, I'm like, I never did that. Moron! I can't believe
It's like
it.
when you picked up Black Mage. Oh, I can't believe you're playing Black Mage that way, Drac.
Oh, dude, yeah, that comment got banned.
That's gonna.
They're banned now. They're done.
So-
I'm not worrying about them. So yeah, Larry, go ahead.
So neither of you guys play Summoner, Mutt? Do you play
I don't.
Summoner at all?
I leveled my summoner through Scholar. That's the extent of my summoner. I've not even done my summoner level 30 job quest to start it.
Uh-huh.
That's how much I've played summoner.
You're stabbing me in the heart right now.
That's
You
okay.
kick him out of your house.
Yeah, you gotta get. You probably have to get out of my house now.
After we
too,
went through all
actually.
the trouble of messing with the audio, I don't think so.
Because Drac has been a 7-day. At least he unlocked Bahamut, so
Yes.
I won't fault him too much. It is a busy time going into a new expansion, so it takes time to level the other jobs.
So look at it this way. On the upside, I didn't defile your job with really bad play.
Okay,
I didn't make it look worse.
that doesn't make me feel better. Thank you, thank you though. So Summoner is a weird beast because this is the common theme since the game has launched, is Summoner has its own kind of set of problems that other jobs aren't affected by, which is the pets and the pet AI. So it's a whole completely separate system that they have to work with and think about when they balance the job.
Dumbass
And
Garuda.
yeah. And now dumbass Bahamut and Phoenix. Like they're like somehow they became more stupid than Stormblood. Like Shadowbringer's Bahamut is even more dumb than Stormblood Bahamut, but in some ways he's smarter. So because of that, like it's kind of like the common theme of whenever they do updates to Summoner, it's like it always feels like they don't know how they want to fix it. Not necessarily that they don't know how to fix it, just they don't know what they want to do to fix it. Yeah. So the changes here, when I see them and I saw them listed out, I was just like, that's not exactly what it needed. They are welcome changes. Like these things will definitely fix certain things, but it could also actually be kind of bad too, depending on your point of view. So the very big change is the Eggy Assaults. So Summoner right now has 2 charged abilities, and they both have 2 charges. So you have 4 that you got to use, and they're off global. And what those do is they tell your pet to attack, right? So and they're like a 30-second cooldown or something like that. They're really short. So because they're so short and because you have 4 of them, have you played Machinist?
Yeah.
It's just like Gauss Round and Ricochet.
That's a lot of fun.
So those, well,
I like that. I like that.
I like that on Machinist. Now imagine that when you push those buttons, you have to wait for your turret to do it before you gain the beneficial effect from it.
It's suddenly a lot less enjoyable.
Right. So it's kind of like those. So it's a little bit less frequent because there's 4 of them instead of 6. But because of that, it was very busy because you were kind of just doing busy work of pushing those buttons so often. But now they're changing it to a GCD, and that does alleviate the busyness, but it presents other problems of, okay, now maybe it might feel too slow is one worry that I have, because honestly, really the Eggy Assault part was really the only thing keeping Summoner very busy. So I'm a little worried that maybe with that it'll feel too slow, but that's just something that I'll have to see when I play it. The other worry is that when you go into Dreadworm Trance it feels like a reprieve almost when you go into it. So it's like, okay, I push this button for the next 15 seconds. I'm free. I have instacast and I can get my Eggy Assaults off cooldown and I'm good. I don't have to worry about them. I could get them done. But now, because Eggy Assaults are going to be on the global cooldown, when you go into Dreadworm Trance, it actually will feel like a chore, because during the duration of Dreadworm Trance, you're not going to want to use the Eggy abilities now. You're only going to want to use Ruin 3s. Depending on how the potencies work, you're probably only going to be wanting using Ruin 3s. So because of that, you're actually there. It just introduced like a 15-second window now where you're still locking yourself out of more abilities, which is something that Summoner does overall forever, which is the problem, is that it locks you out of your rotation. So like imagine like you have your rotation, but depending where you are in your rotation, it locks you out of other parts of the rotation. And that's the issue of what makes it feel really clunky. And so this change worries me that maybe it will actually make me feel like it's doing that even more now. What was the other big change that they did? Firepower increase, like they've been saying. Firepower increase.
Extra firepower.
Whatever that
6
means.
less buttons in your first minute, at least, in your
opener. That's the Eggy Assault thing that they're talking about. So that's what I mean by I'm worried it might feel slow.
Okay.
Because the reason why I've always liked Summoner is because it's a busy job. I've always liked that. Right now it's a little too busy, so maybe it'll balance it out. And then the Ruination effect. I don't know how I quite feel about that. It makes sense and it doesn't. So
what was it?
Ruination is when you use Tri Disaster, it'll for the next like 30 seconds or whatever, it'll buff your ruin spells. Okay. So it like
that makes sense.
It was like a little thing to worry about. The thing that is nice about the change is that now, because it doesn't do that, you don't have to worry about the weird interaction with Firebird Trance. Because before, when you summon Phoenix and you do Ruination, it's like, okay, I have this buff on the boss that's gonna buff all of my ruin spells, but for the next 20 seconds, I'm not using ruin spells. So I just did that for no reason. So now they fixed that at least, but I don't know. The ruination. Why is it called Try Disaster now? Now it should just be called Buy Disaster. It's just 2 things now. It's not 3 things anymore. The name is completely ruined.
Yeah, I mean, they could switch this to Try Bind again.
No, that's okay. Oh, they could.
I don't know,
because it
man.
used to be called that used to be called. Wait, that
Isn't
didn't
it
exist.
Try because you have 3 eggies. That's why you can't get more eggies. is
No,
because
no,
it's already
no.
called
So
Try
so
Disaster.
originally Try Disaster was Try Bind, right?
Yeah.
So because it was the 3 the star, the triangle animation, and not star, and it was a tri. I know my shapes. It was a triangle. I promise. So it was called Try Disaster, and it was such a disaster because it would bind things, and it was amazing. You would never use it. Then in Heaven's Word, they were like, okay, now it'll be this thing that puts on your 3 dots. So that's Try Disaster because it puts on 3 dots.
That was cool.
Yeah. Then they got rid of that and they said, okay, it won't put on 3 dots now. Now it'll give you something called Ruination. So it's still 3 things.
When did they change it to Ruination from the 3 dots?
Stormblood.
Stormblood was that? I thought it still had the.
No.
Oh, maybe that's why I was having such a hard time.
I
I was still going off of Heaven's Word because I thought, Try Disaster. It reduces the amount of it's just straight into the rotation because then that was when Contagion was a big thing and
it does.
Fester was but
I mean it gave you everything, but it was 2 dots in Ruination.
Now, right, because they took away a dot, huh?
Yeah, it was 2 dots. So now it's just going to be 2 dots and nothing. So it's not Try Disaster anymore now, is it?
Well, I mean, ninjas would like a word about Aeolian Edge not increasing your wind duration and Armor Crush not reducing that. Well, now it's not even reducing damage anymore. There's no debuff. It's just buffs or extra damage. Right? Because they changed that in Shadowbringers. No more debuffs. No more. You don't get debuffs anymore. Yeah, that's too difficult.
Dots, debuffs, those are hard. So, yeah, we got to get rid of those things. And then, the Bane thing was the other thing with Summoner is which is definitely a welcome change, actually. It's every time you Bane, your dots will always, when they spread, it'll just reset to the full duration. Or not reset is the wrong word, but it will be full duration. So, if it's a 2-target thing, you could, bounce your Bane back and forth, depending on what the cooldown is. You could just bounce it back and forth and never have to recast the dots, which is cool. So, all those changes are kind of nice, is a little worrisome, but overall, the big things that's wrong with Summoner is just the whole rigidity
there you go,
yes, of the Aether Flow, Firebird Trance, and Dreadrun Trance. Those 3 things, the chances and the Aether Flow, is so rigid, and I don't know how they can fix it, but I don't really like how rigid it feels, because Summoner was always the job that you could morph it and meld it around the situation. Yeah, but now you can't do that. And then the other thing is how dumb the pets are, Bahamut and Phoenix. So because they're tired when you summon them for the first time, they're kind of sleepy. So
sleepy.
Yeah, they're waking up, so you can't tell them to do something too quickly, otherwise they'll fall asleep.
Oh man, that's a similar issue to what we have in with the Queen and Frey, where it's you get it for 20 seconds. Just kidding, it's actually 15 because they're waking up for 5 seconds.
Yeah, I mean that I feel like they kind of just. I mean, they gave it the timer, but they probably just felt okay, we'll give it this timer and we'll just extend it a little bit. Maybe they meant for it to be 15 seconds of attacking, right? But because Bahamut and Phoenix, you're actively telling them to attack. So if you tell them to, if you summon them and then go, okay, attack, they forget. They forget. They were oh wait, what? And then you tell them to attack them again, and then they remember and they're okay, let me attack now.
Jeez.
So you lost out on one, because it's very important that you get the full amount of attacks.
So you're just waiting on it. You're losing cooldown or globals.
What you have to do is you have to triple weave to you have to forcefully clip yourself so that they guarantee that they get those attacks off. So
that's what feels bad.
Yeah, you have to do lots of wonky stuff with Summoner. So if they could fix that, I don't know how, but that's a really big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that again I took away from your interview with them is that they say they're designing these jobs with the end goal in mind. So whatever that would be, 6.0, 7.0, whenever they want to end the game.
Well, they said they're trying not to do that anymore.
Are they okay? So they're trying not to, but that's what they originally were trying to do.
They said originally that's what the way they approach jobs, like back in at Heavensward. That's how when they wanted to update all the jobs and make new jobs when Heavensward was coming around. That's how they did it. But after that, they were like, okay, we're gonna try and just design the jobs so they're fun now without worrying too much about what they'll be in future expansions.
Okay. Yeah, which makes more sense.
Yes,
because they were dealing a lot with the issues of initially, you said the pets, but then there was the issue that they have been dealing with every expansion of how are we going to separate Scholar and Summoner from because they're base Arcanist.
Right. I feel like they've done a good job of that. Really. I feel like they're pretty much almost completely different jobs now. They don't really share anything anymore.
Yeah.
So,
which is good.
Yeah.
Which is how it should feel for the most part. I don't know. I didn't mind things being shared, but they didn't like the system.
It made it hard to balance.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I suppose so. That would be tough. I don't know how much is like just game design wise, and how much is them just having to deal with spaghetti code from 1.0.
It's probably both.
Might be a little bit of both.
Yeah. Because, for instance, back in Heavensward, if you buffed Ruin for Summoner, you were buffing it for Scholar, too. If you buffed Summoner's dots, you were buffing Scholar's dots. So that became difficult. So that's why eventually they, completely made them just Summoner-only abilities.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What's the next job?
Also, hang on. Let me let you guys know if you're hearing some stuff in the background. We had a more professional mic ready for Corey, but didn't realize that it was not compatible with these two mics in the soundboard that we have. So he's on a headset right now. So he's probably getting hit by the rotating fan.
Oh, that's it.
That it might.
That'll
help
do it.
So
yeah,
anyway,
that'll help.
Sorry about that. Just letting you guys know. We ran straight into Murphy's Law today with the mics. Something definitely went wrong. But we fix it with a headset for now, and we'll try and let's just get another mic.
Oh, Murphy's Law, where if something can go wrong, it will?
Yeah.
That's so pessimistic. I don't like thinking like that.
I don't either,
but it was true.
But it's funny.
It's what happened. Man.
So, yeah, so those... I laughed the last time because we were talking, I think it was on Frosty's, and you were like, I feel like they don't know how to play it, or they don't know what to do for it.
Yeah, I don't know. With Summoner, it's so weird. It's being a Summoner main for so long since A Realm Reborn and on is I just kind of take it with a grain of salt that it is a clunky kind of job, because it's always been a clunky job. There's always been weird things that you had to do to make it work, since contagion timings and all that. It's always been weird. So I've just been used to needing to do those types of things. I would say the only thing with Summoner right now that makes me feel kind of meh about it is just it feels a little clunky with all how rigid the whole rotation is.
Right.
Whereas for 6 years before this, it was a very flexible job. So it went from a very flexible job to now a super rigid job with a little flexibility with Bahamut in the middle.
Which is interesting, because I typically think of casters as having that flexibility as compared to something more physical, because you have typically this arsenal of spells.
Right.
I'm talking just for Final Fantasy, okay? So don't get that out of your heads as I'm going for it. But in general, when you think about in an RPG, for casters, it's what spell am I going to use for the situation? But they've taken away a lot of stuff for that in 2.0 onwards, with elemental resistances not being a thing anymore.
well, good riddance for that. I wouldn't want that.
I love that.
What
for enemies? Yeah.
Wait, what? You elemental resistances you would want in our game?
For an MMO?
No.
Yeah, and then you would have a thunder rotation of
in Final Fantasy though?
Not in our game.
Not right now, but that's what I like.
That's what he's saying.
That's what I like
in general.
Yeah.
In general, it can be fun.
In general, I would
the
like
way
it.
that they've made it right now isn't conducive to it, and that's why they took it out.
Yeah.
But that's that's typically what I think of in an RPG. Like,
Okay.
oh, this enemy is weak to this. Then you have, but with the current kits and the current way that fights work, it wouldn't work because
Right.
they're not considering that
Right.
anymore. But I liked that in like 11 and in just different things. Like there would be enemies that wouldn't be as effective if you were, say, like a monk or if you were a dragoon. So like slimes were weaker against piercing attacks, so you'd take in a dragoon
Right.
instead, or use monk weapons that had piercing on them. So
Yeah,
you'd have
that's
to be more
more-
strategic. I enjoy that kind of stuff where you have to
It's a lot of knowledge based then. Yeah, that's definitely an old world MMO type of combat.
and similar to Monster Hunter as well. And that kind of system where you have to understand what you're going up against. But I mean, that's just the genre I enjoy. I'm not saying that everybody has to like it or that it's the end all be all above all.
I thought you were talking about put it in our game, how our game works right now. It's like, no, it would not work.
But in that sense, I'm trying to, the point I was trying to make was that usually you have that flexibility to adapt. Whereas like with physical jobs, it's just a matter of moving yourself and hitting the right targets and using your abilities in the right time.
Yeah.
Whereas spellcasters are setting yourself up and then using the proper spells for the appropriate time. So having that flexibility, Black Mage feels very flexible in my mind, because
It is.
I think the only thing that you're really stuck in, quote, is your trance, but that, or your astral fire or umbral ice. But that's not even a bad thing, because it's just a buff for the most part.
Yeah,
you're an Okian.
Black Mage is kind of fluid, honestly. Like, yeah, it does have a strict rotation if you think about it, but you can meld that rotation to the fight.
Yeah.
So because following the strict rotation isn't going to be optimal in every situation,
right,
for every part of the fight. So you can meld that rotation to the fight.
Yeah.
Summoner, I can't meld anything.
Exactly.
I'm doing the same thing every time, no matter what.
So that's why I think that the Black Mage is in a really good spot, and it kind of fills that caster, what I would imagine a caster should be.
Yeah.
Whereas with Summoner now, they've added so many. They've put it in a rotation, like a very strict rotation.
It's very strict.
That's for a job that has to move. But can't move and attack at the same time. That's like hell.
Yeah.
For starters.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Like what I liked about Old Summoner for like the past 6 years was that if I wanted to unload, I could unload. You know, like if we're getting to like, okay, the ad has to die. There's an ad right now. It needs to die in the next 5 seconds, and we're behind on DPS. I could just unload all of my Aether Flow, Death Flare, summon Bahamut Akmorn, and kill it. But now, if I wanted to do that, I can't do that. I can't get the Phoenix. I have to go. I have to get the Phoenix in a minute. It takes me a minute, no matter what. I can't just unload to Phoenix. So I don't know. It feels very rigid, and that's what I don't like.
Yeah. So that's what I would be like. For a caster, it's not really fitting the archetype in that sense. And I guess I'm the only one that likes having elemental resistances, and I guess for an MMO it would be tougher. It's hard to balance in MMO. In today's MMOs, it's so hard to balance that, because then you're like, okay, I'm a like the piercing thing you said with Dragoon. It's like, okay, so what happens if I go into a fight and Dragoon is not wanted? I'm a Dragoon main, now people don't want me. Yeah.
You know, so that's not good in today's MMOs.
No,
like in how our game works, at least.
I guess I'm watching too many of the anime where that's the MMO worlds, and you have to like build
Isekais?
The isekais or the full dive MMOs where they just kind of talk about, they have to strategize about it.
And the thing with a lot of like other MMOs that have tried it and stuff, you have to really have a system designed around it for it to even be potentially fun. Not even actually fun, just like the thought of it to be fun. Because otherwise, if you're not designing around it entirely, it just feels bad for everybody involved. It's like, oh man, we have to go into with this particular comp, otherwise we can't clear it. And if you're not somebody who is in that comp, you're not going to get invited to that fight.
Right.
And that's kind of an issue I had with like Zervin, which was a one tank fight.
Yeah.
And
that
Warrior was the one
in our game.
Yeah. Warrior was the one tank not wanted in that fight, so I actually couldn't clear Zervin until I had my ninja geared up enough to go in on it.
Yeah, because its invuln didn't work for the cheese.
And so nobody wanted to do the double tank strat, and nobody wanted me to just DPS it on Warrior. So I had to level up a DPS and then get my axe secondhand.
Right.
And compete with people for it. I'm like, well, this sucks.
It's not fun. They try to like completely get rid of those situations, because like back in A Realm Reborn when Ramuh came out, you could just use Summon or Titan, and so you didn't need a tank. You could just take all DPS and use Titan to tank Ramuh. So they like fix that real quick, because they don't want to have the situation where a job is not usable for a certain fight.
That's the downside, is like it's a neat concept to have people like, have your party decked out for what you need. But when you can't fill that need with any kind of party, then you have people being excluded. And when you're excluded, it feels bad, and when you feel bad, you don't play.
Right.
And
no,
so
I totally
it's
understand
a
that.
player retention thing. It's like it's not fun, because WoW dabbled in it a little bit back in vanilla, where you had resistances, and in one of the raids, I think it's Anchorage, is AQ40 is the abbreviation, and so you'd go in. One boss was a slime, like you mentioned, and it was weak to frost damage. So you would take mostly things
Like
that had
Frost Mage?
like Frost Mage. Shamans had Frost Shock. You would have like Frost Weapon enchants. Anything that could do ice damage, you brought to that one fight. But it was just that one fight.
Right.
Yeah. In my mind, I suppose I'm thinking about those RPGs where you're collecting like a whole myriad of things, or there's not just one best weapon, which is kind of how it is right now. So you would have, or you could have,
you want a whole different gearing system,
or you could have people in your party that would give you enhancements, which isn't a thing in Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
In 11 they had like End Thunder or End Fire, which would give you fire damage. And Black Mages, or you weren't strictly in one tree of magic, like as far as like spellcasters were concerned. You could have the entire spectrum, and that was, you just switched.
So you're looking for a lot more horizontal progression than vertical, because like mostly things like Final Fantasy and WoW are almost strictly vertical,
right,
as far as your gearing goes. So there is a best weapon, best armor set, mathematically proven, this is it, and you want a lot more widespread. You have this, that, and the other to pick from for your gearing progression.
Oh, I knew people were gonna get triggered at me saying 11. That's the first MMO I played.
It's just like all of this is definitely old world MMO, meaning, and what I mean by old world MMO is it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So I definitely I think it's cool to have those things, but you also it's definitely something that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like in our game, what we end up having is, which is okay, is some jobs get either nerfed or buffed, and so they fall out of popularity.
Yeah.
So, which is something that could be happening here with the Bard, Machinist, and Dancer changes, which what I was actually really worried about is if they touch any one of those a little too much, then the other ones are going to completely fall out. Well, kind of like how Caster is right now with Black Mage. Black Mage is all the way up, but but like Bard, Machinist, and Dancer, it's very easy for them to just change it so that Bard, like they could very slightly overtune Bard, and it just will be picked over everything else no matter what. The ranged role is very dangerous.
Yeah,
they can mess it
they're
up.
Dancing with it. But I really, I've enjoyed that thing of like customization. The flexibility, like in my mind, no one class is barred from something. They would just have to be creative. That's my thing.
Blue Mage.
Blue Mage, Drag.
Yeah. Isn't that a thing? So
they're getting a Thornton thing in the patch.
They're not getting a Thornton thing. It's just Thornton. You could just go into it.
Yeah, but you're probably going to get an attack.
Maybe,
you mean you're getting a Thornton attack?
I think so.
Oh, I thought you meant by Thornton thing. I was like, they're making content.
No.
Of Thornton.
No, I wouldn't accuse them of making content.
Oh. Okay.
We're going to get a Heavenly Heal.
Oh, Heavenly Feel.
Heavenly Feel, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always called it. Heavenly Feel.
Because you feel it up your ass.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I tanked that fight. So
fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
We can talk about Blue Mage, but a little later. Let's get through the job changes.
Yeah.
There's still, like, the job changes are definitely like a really big thing, so for me, the job changes are usually like the most exciting part. Like
or disappointing, depending.
Or disappointing, yeah. But
the thing you look for first in the patch notes.
Yes, it's the thing I look for first in the patch notes. So we could talk, like, I'm not too much of an expert on ranged, but talk a little bit about it would just be like I'm glad that they're putting the flavor of bards having the songs that buff you again, just from them being up. But that could be worrisome because if it's a little too much,
it's too strong, then yeah.
If it's a little too much, then I would always just be bard.
And that's where I will be more lenient on the dev team, because they can test it the way that they want it to be played or they think it should be played, but then they won't actually say this is how we intend for you to play. And then people are going to min-max. They're going to figure out those little things, those little nuances, those things that you can do to make it broken, or to take it into places that the dev team doesn't realize. Yoshi did not like me bringing up this topic at all. He's just like, well, didn't we acknowledge that it wasn't great? And when Ninja came out, I'm like, that's not the point. I'm just saying that sometimes the player base comes up with things that you guys don't. So what is your intention with it, so that people aren't like mad at you for doing it in a certain way, or like if people don't figure it out right away. But they don't want to. We're not going to tell people how to play the game, but also at the same time, we're going to nerf it into the ground once they figure out how to do it better.
With Ninja,
back in the day,
back in the day with Ninja,
and Barden machinists weren't fun for people who didn't like the bow mage and the gun mage, and just they were feeling they weren't doing enough damage, and Yoshi's like, you need to learn the rotation. But he wouldn't. But we're not going to tell you what to do. That what you have to do in the game. But you need to learn the rotation. You're doing the wrong one. But we're not going to tell you what it is. You're doing the wrong one though.
That's like the you're holding it wrong. I forget what that was. I think it was like PlayStation Move controllers or something back in the day. They were like they weren't working, and they were like, you're holding it wrong. No, maybe it was I remember what it was. It was the iPhone 4. When the iPhone 4 came out, remember how the antennas were on the outside with the little black lines, and if you held it in a certain way, you would lose signal. So Steve Jobs was like, "You're holding it wrong."
Yeah. Oh boy.
So I guess like the only thing like with the rest with the machinist and dancer changes is just firepower increase. Firepower increase, whatever that means. Some skills will also see recast timer shortened.
Yeah, Apex Heroes getting a new sound effect.
Sound effects.
Which I really hope it's something beefy, because that animation deserves something.
And it's like a laser beam.
Just like Sonic Boom style.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be erring more on like the side of caution with like the bard changes, because I don't think they want to edge out machinist and dancer by giving bard more support. But more of like a flavor thing, because people really want a support class.
Yeah.
And dancer fills it well. Bard is going to be getting it back, but they really don't want to have it outshine dancer, I feel, especially because dancer's like the new kid on the block.
Yeah.
So they don't want
dancer right now, like it's going to be so easy for dancer to just be not taken at all. I'm a little worried for it. Like if bard and machinist outshine it even a little bit, dancer's just not going to be brought.
Or
whatsoever.
even in certain situations, if people just don't adapt properly to it quick enough, then the community is going to say themselves, this job is not good. It could be good and just not utilized the right way, because that's happened a lot where people just decide, like for Samurai and Stormblood, Samurai was good in damage, but you have people saying it's garbage. People who play it are garbage because it doesn't bring anything to the party. So it's garbage, you're garbage, and you never want to have a Samurai in your group.
Yeah. Oh no, there's definitely like the community
are still there.
Right. There's definitely the community representation and like outlook on that kind of thing. But like just from because of FF Log's culture and how it is now, like you'll just have such a large sample size of all of these jobs and all of their parses and stuff. Like we'll see very easily like how much they're like we'll know right away. It's like, okay, a dancer is not bringing anything close regardless to what bard and machinist can make, so we're just not going to bring them. That I mean, really, the whole ranged role they just got to get right, because otherwise people are just gonna bring 2 black mages, because they do that. They do that now. So it's a little worrisome, the ranged role, but we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
And then monk we already talked about, right? It was just like more firepower.
No, it's the same. It's good where it is. They know what they're talking about.
Oh yeah, not more firepower. Oh my god, I almost said more. I said more firepower. That would be crazy.
No, we'll take more firepower for monk, please. Yeah, thank you.
No, it doesn't need that.
Letty Fish should have about 500 more potency.
What they'll do to add more firepower to monk is they'll make Fist of Fire hit really hard, but make it go really slow to compensate.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I know, right?
That sounds
more
really
firepower, just slow, hard-hitting punches.
Yeah,
just boom,
the way
fixes monk right there.
Now is fine.
What a good, Corey. That's such a good idea.
They should put me on the balance team.
Right.
But that's another thing. Okay, so now you're gonna suggest that, but my idea was totally trash. I like I would be totally fine if they had like Riddle of Fire. If Riddle of Wind wasn't just like they just kept it as a temporary buff. You can either do really slow hard hitting or you buff yourself and go faster instead, like that, which is technically what it is now. I'm totally fine with just a variety of ways to play.
A variety.
Yeah, just have some different flavors.
That's an illusion.
What kind of like
Variety's
levels of
an
flavor
illusion.
are you looking for?
Just
Like, can I go Intellect Monk?
intellect. I mean, if you had certain abilities that scaled with it,
Why don't they do that?
like if Chakra actually had more abilities that scaled with it, then absolutely that would be cool.
So would you enjoy having to dual stat Strength and Intellect? Would you like to take your Black Mage gear and put it on your Monk like your
No,
rings?
because your wording is wrong. Because
Is
it's
it?
not having to do it; it's having the option.
No,
to
I
do it.
want you to have to do
But
it.
No,
but in
if you
this
have
game
to
there
do
I
it,
just
is
want to
no.
argue
There's
with
no
this.
there's no variety. It's you have to do it.
Yeah,
That's it.
this game
No.
there is no option.
Yeah.
Even if there was, there's no option.
One of them is better, and you have to
Someone's
pick the better
gonna find it.
You
Yeah.
find the better one. So, I don't know, man. Mantra? Did they need to change mantra? What is mantra right now?
It
what is the
increases
percentage?
The health, or I think it's 30%. Last time I checked,
30%.
I thought it was 30%.
30%
Am I
more
wrong?
healing. Is that what it is?
30% more healing.
It's
healing
like
for the party.
AoE.
That's
combo,
huge.
pretty much.
Isn't
It's
let me
big.
let me look
Nature's
it up real quick.
min.
They
You
might
know,
have
Bard.
Is it 20% now? Okay, it's 20%.
It's 20% AOE.
20%. Yes,
Yeah.
AoE healing to everybody in.
Isn't
in
Bard's Nature's min like a single target?
Yep.
20%. So it's a better Nature's min.
Well, I don't know what
Okay.
the cooldown on min is. I think it's like 30 seconds, if I had to
Uh-huh.
guess.
range. Did it
That
used
sounds
to be
about right.
30?
All right. Well,
Yeah, and they were reducing it.
yeah, that does sound a little strong. I guess that's justified.
Yeah, because that's a
Um,
white mage cooldown
Yeah.
Yeah.
right now.
Like, why it's on Monk, I don't know. I think that
Mhm.
would be cool on a healer, but that's just me.
What mantra on a healer?
Yeah, just let them actually have control
mean-
over it a little bit.
I mean, they do. Like Scholar has that. Something like that.
Give it to Astro. They could use the help.
Well, they're getting help. Dragoon. Why is Dragoon getting a DPS buff? It doesn't need it.
They
I don't
don't
know.
feel good enough to play, so this is their way of enticing people onto the job for the expansion.
I like Dragoon.
Dragoon is the best melee DPS right now. It's the most fun. I
Yeah.
actually love what they did. I didn't care for it a whole lot in Heaven's Ward when they started this path because it was just so like different. It's a 4-step combo, and now we're like at a 5-step, and I'm like, oh god, how does my brain compute hitting 5 buttons in a row? It's just so new. But now I'm like, this is so fluid. It's fun.
it
The
feels very
jumps
fluid.
feel really good now that I'm not like animation locked for 10 years. I jump feels so good, and then Stardiver is the coolest ability in the game, just hands down.
That's not true. It's Akmorn, but okay, go ahead.
I've been hit by Akmorn too much for it to be that cool.
All right, whatever, man.
Yeah, the Dragoon's always been like a really, really well designed. Like that is the model. Dragoon for melee has
yeah.
been the model of a good mixture of feel and like how it plays into lore. So like it looks, it plays, it feels like it is a dragon.
It's
you
too
feel like a
good.
dragon. You play.
Yeah.
You actually feel like you're a dragoon.
Yeah,
Sorry, I got my IGN mode right there.
dude.
Play as Spider-Man. You really play. You feel like Batman. You feel like Dragoon. You are Estinian.
In Bubber Ducky, you play as Bubber Ducky.
Corey won't get that. He doesn't watch Donkey.
Damn it. Whatever. Dragoon is a sports car. It's the sports car of this game. It goes really fast and feels really nice. I've never driven a sports car, but I would imagine that it feels like what playing Dragoon is. I don't know why it needed buffs. I
don't think it did. I think
it
they're just
doesn't
kind of
need
doing it.
buffs. Why?
I think they're afraid of like with the ninja changes and maybe like the samurai changes that Dragoon is all of a sudden much less desirable. And so this is
Maybe-
they're trying to like maybe
Oh.
retain its spot in
They're
power
saying-
relative to the
shit.
other changes.
Dude, maybe that means that the others, like the samurai buffs, are so big that they were like, Mr. Dragoon's a little low now.
But I mean, still Dragoon has battle litany.
Litany and
So-
the Dragon Sight Tether.
Yeah, so
And
maybe the samurai buffs are so big that even with that, they looked at the Dragoon and was like, that's a little low.
Yeah.
Well,
we
we
need to
have
buff it.
we have that bright red text for you there.
Uh-huh.
Right under that. Usability will be improved.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh, what does that mean?
We don't know, Larry. We have no
What
What
idea.
could that mean?
One thing
have
they
no
might do
clue.
to improve usability is make it so what
Don't
is
say it.
Wheeling thrust and Fang and Claw share a button now, kind of like a
No.
I don't want them to
No.
do that, but that would
No.
improve usability.
No. No.
That's
it's already
like
easy enough.
simplifying.
It
No.
should just
I know.
be PvP. Just
Uh-huh.
PvP buttons. Just have
Yeah.
it go hit one button, go through your rotation. I'm
No.
playing the
That-
game.
That
No.
increases usability.
That does increase usability. Another thing that I saw was like that I would actually kind of hope for is just reduce the animation lock on Stardiver a little bit, because I clip on that thing. And I'm just single weaving it, and I clip on that thing because I'm bad,
Yeah.
or because I have bad ping. I don't know. It's probably both. But the animation lock on Stardiver is pretty long. So hopefully that's, I don't know.
I would love for them to get rid of animation lock entirely.
Just entirely.
I hate it. It is very frustrating at times. Like, oh man, I want to move out of this AoE. Kind of a shame I'm gonna die here though, because there have been times in Titan or Leviathan I'll use my gap closer, which is just a very quick animation by itself. Even if
Yeah.
I'm standing still, the delay between me in my animation and moving is long enough to get clipped by whatever it is that's gonna kill me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I want that to be gone. I want to be able to do
That's
what I
the
want to do.
skill. That's
No,
the
Rough Divide is an ability.
skill. No, come on. That's not what I meant. I hate you. Get out of my house. Yeah, there's a lot of bad things that they could do to Dragoon too for the usability. They could get rid, like I saw Momo saying, they could get rid of Mirage Dive, and instead you just go into life every 2 Gerskull goals.
Oh no, that would be bad.
Yeah, that would be so bad, but that's improving usability. So
Ah,
I don't think I want to think about it anymore.
that would suck. Because like that ruins all the flexibility of your rotation.
I mean, it's not really flexibility. It's just like less.
'Cause
You don't get Mirage Dive. Mirage Dive's
Yeah.
cool, dude.
it is, but like I like being able to like hit Mirage Dive and like maybe
Wait
like
on it.
yeah, wait.
Yeah.
And like I'll use like Mirage Dive before Gearskogel or Gearskogel before Mirage Dive and control when I have my Nastron phase go out.
That's
little
true.
And it was like if it's
could
just every
delay it.
second Gearskogel, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Oh, that would be like Summoner. That would be a whole lot like Summoner. You just have to go into it as soon as it's off cooldown.
Yeah, I like the
Yeah.
control that like
I like the
Putting it
control
where it
too.
is.
I would love control on Summoner. All right.
Control is an illusion.
Yeah, I guess it is. Red Mage.
Considerable buff
Yeah.
to potency. So that's a lot of fire. They didn't say firepower this time.
They said by a considerable
Maybe because
amount.
it's thunder and earth. They don't use fire. They use their flare,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Anyway, that's my theory for it. I don't. What trait will be buffed?
I'm assuming dual cast. That's the only thing I can.
Why don't
that's
they
the only trait I
Buff
can
dual
think-
cast. It's now triple cast.
Yeah, right. The only thing I can think of them buffing it is that like using things like swift cast and like your other instant like sure cast and stuff won't consume your dual cast thing. Because that's a really big point of
I don't think
contention.
swift cast does, but like,
Everything you hit will consume it.
oh really?
At least
I
from
know
what I've
Sprint
done in the
does.
past, it's like sprint consumes it.
Yeah, Sprint does.
Sure cast, swift cast, all of that consumes your dual cast, and I'm like, why? This has
Mhm.
no cast time. I think what it should do is just eliminate the cast time from your next thing, not just make the next thing instant.
Right.
Because it's just like it feels bad how it is. Because like I can't, if I have my dual cast up, I can't use anything else. I have to use my next ability and then
It has to be a dual cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but
that's what I would do to
the
buff
sprint. The sprint is what messes me up.
Yeah.
Particularly is okay. I got a sprint now. Oh shit! I
Yeah,
ate up my dual cast
it.
to
And then
sprint.
there goes your DPS.
Yeah. The other thing that they're doing is giving acceleration in 3 stacks, which
Yeah, so
is
that's a charged ability.
that is what I would call it, a usability improvement.
I wasn't a fan of RNG to begin with.
Yeah.
When they came out with things like Dark Knight originally, their what was it? This was when parry was still a stat. Their mitigation was parry
Mm-hmm.
based. That was one of the big ones. Dark Dance.
Dark
like that.
Dance.
Dark
Yeah.
Dance.
Dark Dance.
I like that you could
30%
dodge as
parry.
well. The parrying could
Yeah,
use
dude.
an overhaul
Yeah.
in general.
Dark Arts, the Dark Dance. Now you dodge too.
Yeah, which was cool. I liked it. I did like that. I like having elements of dodge. And parrying would be nice if you actually parried the attack, and like got like a little
Yeah.
low potency attack. 'Cause
Dodging would be nice if you could dodge the tank buster. You get Akmord, dodge, dodge.
action combat games are where it's at.
Backtracking, you said you don't like I don't mind the RNG and Red Mage's rotation personally. It just kind of keeps me on my toes a little bit, and I don't play it at a high level, so it doesn't
like
bother
it.
me any.
It didn't feel bad.
No, it
Like,
feels very smooth and good. Sorry.
Yeah, I like
No,
it.
it's fine. What was worse for me was Machinist. Machinist early on was very rough because you needed ammunition just to go into your next three rotation.
Yeah, that was a 1, 2, 3. So yeah.
Yeah. So like you could, I got lucky on one, and we're back to square one right now. So that was really Red Mage. I didn't mind it too much, anyway. But typically when they first introduced like RNG stuff, like for Chakra, I don't really notice it that much. It would be nice if it was more consistent, because then you have the rotation. Because that's the game that they've made, is rotation based gameplay, and then throwing in random elements,
Procs and shit.
procs. Yeah. I mean, it's all but removed from Black Mage with how Sharpcast is. It's on a low cooldown timer, and procs
You're just using it all the time.
Yeah, it's so. At some point, it's just like it's the same thing. same answer to why Earth's reply is in the game. Why even have positionals if you're just going to negate them anyway? There's zero purpose to have it in there. But,
God,
it's interesting gameplay. It's interesting to have positionals, but you don't have positionals anymore. So there's your little variety. There's some customization.
I don't want
you
it.
Can use
I don't
Earth's
want
reply, or you can't. You can just make it harder on yourself for no arbitrary reason.
Yeah, I can just not and just do the positional. But no, like the Red Mage thing, it's still. Hopefully, because of the adjusted cooldown, it'll feel like the same amount of RNG. But at least in your opener, where it matters that you're getting the procs, you can guarantee you're getting the procs in your opener. So your opener will be very predictable, and you can get everything in those buff windows. So that's good. That's very good.
I agree. It's like the reason I like Red Mage more than the other casters, I think, is because it's not like a set rotation. It's more of a priority system with procs kind of thrown in to like mix things up. And I think that's the more fun way to play, because it doesn't really get stagnant. It can be unfun at times if you don't get your procs, but with the changes here, you have more control over it, and you can set it up so like if you need a burst window at this time, you have what you need to do it.
Right.
And so that's fun to me, and that's like it's like controlled chaos kind of thing, which is fun. I don't like stagnant rotations. Do this the entire time. Give me something to like mix it up every now and then. Change up the gameplay.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be really cool. Black Mage, no changes. It's good. It's fine.
Yep.
Just leave it.
Except for the triple cast, which is kind of nice.
We can't count to 3, so we need to remember.
I've got like 3 brain cells left after all what we've done.
You gotta use them all.
Moving, and then I'm like, I get to a point. I'm like, all right, I'm done moving. Crap, how many do I have on? So I'm like buffering the spell, so I'm hitting it, and then it's like, oh wait, I shouldn't be doing this fire 4. I need to do fire 1 because it's not instant. So that can be when you're frazzled in a lot, like Titan phase 1.
Right.
That you can't pay attention to a whole lot. I can't pay attention to a whole lot.
Oh, definitely. I could see that happening.
In Final Fantasy 11, you never had to deal with that.
Well, this isn't Final Fantasy 11.
People for a little bit.
Scholar and White Mage is just improvements on usability, and Asylum is gonna be bigger.
Yeah,
I thought it was fine.
It needs
but
to take up the entire room so that my tank can't run out of it in a dungeon.
Oh, okay.
I get yelled at when I'm in the bubble.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
wait, you get yelled at in the bubble?
Yes, in E1, in the second Delta when it's different.
Yeah,
the tanks are in their like triangle spots.
So
I saw collective. Damage reduction bubble. I'll go in there. No, they didn't want me in there.
Oh,
because the whole party died.
Well, for those mechanics, you're not considered a part of the party. You have to get out of the party.
I like to be included, so I wanted to give them a hug, and I did.
And you did.
Yeah.
Astrologian, I can't.
Eva.
Yeah, we did Eva.
What do you think about Astro?
the card thing, the thing that I do understand is like you draw a card and it's like, okay, I gotta change this card into a lord or a lady and then use it. Right? I gotta draw the card, change it, use it. Now it's just gonna be like draw the card, use it as a lord or a lady automatically.
Yeah.
So it's one less button push. That's nice.
Yeah, that's streamlined. That's good.
Yeah.
I think so anyway.
What is the collective unconsciousness thing? Wait, will be I gotta read this. Specifics of collective unconsciousness will be changed, where executing the skill will bring different effects depending on whether you're diurnal and nocturnal. This damage may be different depending on which sector. Okay. I don't get it.
So it's an omega debuff.
Bring
It's a
it
paragraph.
different effects. Oh, it's just going to be different depending on which thing you're in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So instead of just giving you both versions of the aspected, you now have
one or the other?
Yeah, you now have two different effects. One is a hot and then basically a shield, and the other is just straight up damage reduction by a percentage, based off what I'm reading at the very least. And it looks like the nocturnal one is like it's 10%. It's basically a reprisal or a 10% damage mitigation shield that lasts for 20 seconds. But I'm like, how does that work versus like a defense barrier of 10% damage mitigation? So like the wording on it's not clear on what they do, and it's like how that differs from what they already do. Like what's the difference between a defense barrier of 10% damage mitigation and instantly granting 10% damage mitigation shield? I think of a barrier as a shield, so if they're not the same,
damage mitigation or a shield, that's different. Mitigation and shields are different. Yeah,
but like one's a 10% damage mitigation shield and the other is a defense barrier of 10% damage mitigation.
Yeah, so one of them extends your health, one of them reduces the damage you take.
Because I'm thinking, like, it says damage mitigation shield. I'm like, so how does
I think
shield
the wording is... No. I think it just means a 10% shield. Maybe the wording's
weird. I thought
weird.
the other one was a 10% shield, because it's like,
Dude,
I read
don't know.
defense barrier of 10% damage mitigation as like...
How defense barrier... Yeah, it's defense barrier of 10% damage mitigation. It just means a defense barrier of, like, a shield at 10%.
Yeah, that's what like 10% of my HP.
Yeah, I think it means of your HP or something like that.
And then is the other one like it takes 10% of the edge off the attack?
Yeah, 10% damage mitigation. Yeah,
So
the
one's a
wording here
shield.
is weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm like getting hung up on it. I'm like,
One's damage
I don't-
reduction, one's just mitigation.
Yes,
Like a
one's
shield
mitigation, one is damage reduction.
And so,
Yeah.
by the looks of it, I think the damage mitigation is better, just with where we are in damage in the game, because like just number wise, like 10% of like 100,000 to everybody is more than like 10% of their HP.
Yeah, it depends. I can't really speak too much about healer optimization, but I know that really the only time that kind of thing matters is if the hit was going to kill you. So you only really need it if the hit's going to kill you.
Yeah.
If it's not going to kill you, you don't necessarily need it. You just got to live.
Yeah.
The interesting thing that I saw was all these tank changes. Why?
Because tanking is in a really weak spot right now. We don't have enough control or independence, so they really needed to buff us in dungeons because that's where we struggle.
In dungeons.
Yes, in dungeons, the true end game.
Right.
Yeah. So the reprisal change is welcome. I'll take that. 10%, like an extra, like doubling the duration of it and making it AOE, super nice on dungeons. I can use that every minute. And on trash, I'll just open up with reprisal, wait on the fallout, and then start my buff rotation. And then halfway through the pull, probably, or like towards the end, I can just reprisal again, and then I can save another cooldown for the next pack.
I mean, it's definitely welcome. Like, it's definitely like, oh, AOE, like an AOE reprisal is definitely freaking awesome. But did we need that?
Did we need it? It depends, because like I think for leveling, it's very beneficial, a lot more than it's like we're giving it credit for. Because things like leveling a tank sucks in like the 71 to 76.
Because you have no mitigation.
Because things hit so much harder than your gear is ready for. Because the stats are starting to really ramp up, and before you get the gear to be ready for the dungeon, like your first time leveling, things hurt. In Ilmeg, when I was leveling Warrior, I almost stopped playing Warrior because of the combination of my buffs had been nerfed from the previous expansion, and I don't have enough mitigation to roll through the pulls and do the big pulls, so I had to single pull.
Huh.
And I'm like, this doesn't feel right because I just don't have the parts of my kit that make it fun yet.
Okay.
And so I will take the extra 5 seconds on my 3-minute cooldown, which is what it used to be for like Vengeance in particular was 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And they nerfed it down to 10. But in dungeons, you really feel that. And then the reprisal change will help that out a lot too, especially for Paladin, who doesn't feel like they really have a whole lot of personal mitigation, especially early on.
Mm-hmm.
Gunbreaker, it really didn't need it, because after you hit 68 on Gunbreaker, you have so many cooldowns, because Heart of Stone is really, really good.
Yeah.
And
it
TBN
is.
on Dark Knight's also good, but
I love
it
Blackish
varies.
Knight.
Because you
I
don't
love that
have...
move.
I think because Dark Mind sucks in dungeons, like especially on Trash, it doesn't do what you need it to.
Uh-huh.
So you're kind of like down a cooldown, almost. And you're really relying on the strength of TBN to fill the gaps. But
Yeah.
Reprisal will help that out, and then having a longer Shadow Wall will just kind of like be nice.
Mhm.
In raids, I really don't see a reason why these need to be. Because
That's what I was
I never need the 5 extra seconds on my 30.
Yeah, it doesn't need it.
30%, and then the AOE on Reprisal doesn't matter because we don't have any serious ad fights or like serious ad phases.
Maybe an Alexander ultimate, we're gonna get the A2S back, and you're gonna just have a whole bunch of ads, and so you'll need the AoE reprisal.
If they can make that be fun, that'd be nice, but I really don't trust them to make A2 fun because they didn't succeed the first time.
They can do it.
We'll see.
We'll talk about that a little later. But
Yeah.
and then the home gang effect timer. Why?
I don't know. I feel
It's
I feel
really
like
good.
I don't know why they really have no need to buff home gang because it's already really, really good.
It's the best one.
Unless they're extending it by like only a second or two to catch like an extra auto maybe. But even then, it's
Yeah.
like, I really don't think it needs it. It was already overpowered going in to like Stormblood when it was a 3-minute. Yeah, it was 3 minutes, 180, and then
Yeah.
now it's like 240, which is fine. I think it's like perfect as it is because it was. I could use it too often, and we cheesed so much of O12 was just like, okay, I'll home gang every other mechanic and just totally
Yeah,
invalidate
they're
it.
so good.
And
but-
I got what I wanted out of it, which was like it no longer roots me in place, and so I was fine taking away the extra minute of the cooldown, and then giving me the freedom of movement.
Mhm.
I really don't need it to last longer because I'm only ever using it for like a hit anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't think it really needed to last longer, but and then they're getting buffs in just defense in general. I don't know.
I don't know.
Changes. I'm just
I'm-
like, okay.
Usability has improved.
Yeah, that's usability.
Usability
Yeah.
has
Yes.
improved. At least they were specific in this one. But
Yeah.
I think you were wanting home gang to last a little bit longer for a while.
Because it like with server ticks, it's like if I hit it, I have to hit it right in the sweet spot,
Mm-hmm.
and if I can, there's like frame of as it's applying. I'm praying the damage doesn't go out as I'm hitting the buff,
Right.
which has happened numerous times. Like if we go back to A12 prog, the opening,
Mm-hmm.
it would last just long enough if I prayed to catch all of it. If
Yeah.
not, I would die. Quite a lot.
Good times. Good times.
We kind of skipped one.
Wait, what? What did we skip?
Ninja.
Oh my god.
We don't
It's the
really-
first thing on the
I
list.
don't play it. I talked to Tate about it, and I still don't know what I'm talking about with it. Ninja's more complicated than I'm capable of. Really, there was a lot to pay attention to.
There is.
So I just opted out.
Oh, my mic.
I leveled it, but I just opted out. So I haven't put in. I mean, I'm still trying to level up other stuff
Yeah.
that I want to play. It's been a busy time.
I
but-
brought up Ninja. That's why Drax talked about. I was muted. Yeah. I
Right.
keep forgetting.
We haven't talked
So-
about Ninja yet.
Like the
Ninja.
changes.
The thing with Ninja, from what I could see, they fixed the ping issues by a lot because of the mudras are now like
Globals.
kind of globals.
I think they're similar to.
They're like dance steps.
Yeah, they're dance steps are like machinists. Is it like
What?
is
Just
it
dance
Gauze,
steps.
is it Gauze round?
Those are just OGCDs.
Those are You're talking
No,
about like the
Heat
hypercharge.
Blast. Heat blast.
Oh, Heat Blast. Yes.
So it's that timer.
Quick ones. Yeah, they're quick GCDs. Yeah, so that's definitely nice. I think I kind of would have liked the change better. I think Tate was saying this, like, just would have liked the change better if you could just do attacks and do the ninjutsus between GCDs.
That's what I thought they were gonna do.
Yeah, instead of needing to do it all at once. I think that would have been fine, but this way is fine too. And then the ley lines, the ninja ley lines, what is that called?
Tenchi Jin. It
Tenchi
is
Jin.
the worst ability in the game.
Yeah, so they made it like a little nicer now because you just push the button and
So
it'll do that
instead of cutting off
ninjutsu.
both of your legs, you only cut off one,
Uh-huh.
and it still sucks, but it sucks significantly
Sucks less.
So I guess that's something.
Yeah. I don't know, but overall, like, my opinion on it is just because we can't talk about like super optimization because we don't know. I don't really play Ninja, but my opinion on it is just I saw the changes and I was like, okay, I'll probably want to try out Ninja now. It looks a little more usable for me because the usability was improved for me.
What the hell? Did they
Ninja
do?
was my favorite
What?
DPS in Stormblood, and
Uh-huh.
so I played more of it than anything else last expansion outside of like tanking.
Oh wow.
And so I'm happy with a lot of these changes. The like the ninjutsu and the Mudra change is welcome,
Mhm.
but right now I don't have, because I don't play at like a super high end like rating level. I don't have the clipping issues that a lot of other people do.
Mhm.
It might be a ping thing, but
Could be.
the clipping doesn't bother me as much as it seems to bother a lot of other people. But this will make it non-existent because it's just part of the GCD.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the other thing I'm really happy about is the Shadowfang, the dot, is no longer a combo action. It's just by itself, kind of like I think it's Sonic Break on Gunbreaker.
That's
Oh,
what I
like
was
how-
thinking, like, why?
How Mutilate used to work? It's Mutilate?
Yeah.
You remember that?
It's Touch
don't-
of Death, Mutilate.
Fracture,
What was the
Dark
Dark
Knight
Oh,
of the
Dark,
Scourge.
Dark Knight one? Scourge, yeah.
Scourge.
yeah. And so
Scourge.
they did
So-
that, but like when I started playing this expansion, now that it's a two-step combo, it keeps messing me up because I'm not ready for like a two-step combo with it anymore, and it feels wrong in muscle memory. I'm waiting on
Yeah.
that third hit.
I'm not against.
And I'm
like,
breaking the combo.
Yeah, I don't want people to think I'm against one button dots, but they just went through the trouble of removing almost every single one from the.
I don't
game.
think they
Yeah.
should have removed. I don't think they should have removed that dot.
Same. I don't either.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then now they're bringing one back, so they took them away. Now they're giving.
Well, no, I don't think they brought it back. They just changed how you get it.
Yeah, but
like-
they're making a single button now.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean they brought back a single button?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So they're.
Eh.
I don't know.
Because
I don't
that was
know.
the reasoning for taking away Fracture, Scourge, because it was like I don't want to say unintuitive, but it was like uninteractive to just have like a single button press for your dot.
Yeah.
And that's why I believe they said they
Yeah, I
took it
kind of
away.
don't. Yeah, I kind of don't like that.
I would have rather
I
just
like-
be on a third.
I like it to be a 1-2.
I don't like 1-2. I like 1-2-3.
Well, yeah, like it's a
Oh,
1-2-3,
so-
but it's like the second hit in the combo or something.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
Dots are a black mage's job, chat.
Yeah.
You need to get your shit straight.
yeah. So I guess we could wrap up the job changes stuff. We talked about that much longer than I thought, but it's just like there's so much to go over with it.
Yeah,
So-
I personally don't like have much experience with the other jobs, so I didn't have a lot to talk about personally.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, I'm happy with it. It's content. The rest of the stuff is pretty mundane. So what I really wanted to spend
Mundane.
most
It's the near raid, Drac. That's not mundane at all.
um,
Well, it's mundane. No, it's not.
com-
I'm never gonna use that word. It's not mundane. It's
compared to blue mage changes. I'm just kidding.
there's not much to talk about with the near raid yet because we don't know. We just saw stuff, so I
Uh,
don't want to go into it.
I just
Because
wanted to make a blue mage
did-
joke.
did you play near?
I've played through I don't know the name of the ending, but like the first one, and then I started the one with the second ending.
So you're on the second part.
Yes,
Okay.
because there's like the 5 main endings you have to go through. I'm on the
Yeah.
second.
Okay. Yeah, this is one thing that I just want to say, like with Nier and Automata and that kind of thing, is like they call it an ending, but it's actually not an ending at all. It's just like the end of a chapter. Like
Yeah.
like it's like you're reading a book and it's just like, okay, you finished chapter 1, now go read chapter 2.
Yeah,
Like-
and it's like I'm interested in
yeah.
going through the other chapters, but at the same time, like I have to sit down and go through the other chapters. And I had fun playing Nier, but I think
Mhm.
streaming Nier is a little bit more of a chore. because I felt like I had to keep driving it forward. I couldn't go do what I necessarily wanted to do just for the sake of like keeping the audience entertained and stuff.
Oh no.
And so
Oh no.
then if I do go and play the rest of Nier, I won't be streaming it.
Yeah.
Just so I can preserve like how I think it should be played.
just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I felt the same way too. So like this gets into like streaming games, like streaming games and playing a game for enjoying it is not always the same thing.
Yeah, how'd you like
Yeah.
Sekiro, by the way, on stream?
I had fun doing that on stream. For me, the ones that I don't like doing on stream as much are story games. I like to get really immersed in the story,
Okay.
and so like usually be like, and I also when I'm streaming, I want to be interacting with chat. So like if I'm playing a story game, I also want to be interacting with chat. Can't talk, and so I'm not really immersing myself in the story as much. I'm just talking to chat. So yeah. But like with Sekiro, I think was okay.
Yeah, I wasn't
don't
talking.
mind.
I wasn't saying he was bad at Sekiro, but people are really bad at
See,
backseating
Yeah,
in
I think
Sekiro.
the
I'm good at
benefit-
ignoring it.
Yeah,
I just
did
don't
pretty
look.
Well.
Yeah.
You did pretty well.
I think the benefit of Sekiro is because we die all the time. There's a lot of downtime where you can get back to where you were
Right.
and interact with chat while you're running back to where you had died.
Right.
And so that alleviates that problem that Nier had, where it's like you're not dying a whole lot, but you still want to get through like the story.
Yeah, so it's good. Yeah, so I will say like for Nier is just if you are interested in the Nier story, you can absolutely pick it up and finish it before. If anybody wants to play it before the raid comes out, you could do it's like a 24 hour game to get through the story with doing like a few side quests and stuff, like not super rushing. If you super rush, you could probably do it in like 10 hours. But don't do that to that game.
I don't have to.
I think the ultimate raid could be a fun discussion, but maybe we'll do Blue Mage, get that out of the way first.
I honestly talked about it as much as I really wanted to on Frosties. There's not too much to do with it. It's
What,
more
Blue
of
Mage?
like it's the disappointment that I'm trying to think of like how to best approach this, because
See.
there are two different mindsets. Oh, what's up?
While you think about how you want to approach it, I can give my opinion on Blue Mage, and
Sure.
that's I haven't unlocked it yet.
Oh my!
I've not even started looking at it because I'm like, I'll wait until they bring it up to the level cap for it to match with everything else, because I thought they had. I might be misremembering this, but I thought they had said is like we want to eventually get this caught up in level with everything else, so you can bring it in.
No,
But it doesn't seem like it's the case.
no, they're going to be periodically raising the level cap, but not necessarily getting it to
Caught up.
caught
Oh,
up.
within an expansion,
because
no.
it's back to the conversation of it's a job that had a lot of versatility,
Mhm.
but then if people don't have the right versatility that the community has decided is the best versatility, then they're not going to get invited to groups. So there's a
Right.
lot of pressure to play it a certain way. And for a single player game, it's fine, because that's the fun of RPGs, is being able to kind of find your path
And become
play.
OP.
Become OP,
Yeah.
find your way to play. And I understand that there are difficulties when doing it in an MMO setting. I would say that the whole thing isn't the whole customization is a lie. There is always going to be an optimal way to do things. It doesn't mean you can't do things other ways.
Right.
It means things aren't viable. It just means that they're not optimal.
In a single player game?
In MMOs with the
Oh.
way communities like figure
Uh-huh.
out, because I mean you can I'm pretty sure you can clear raids without healers DPSing,
Yeah, bro, you could clear a raid being an ice mage.
but it's not optimal. You know?
Yeah, you could do it.
You can do it if you can find 7 other people to put up with you.
Right.
Dude, I could be an ice mage and parse more than like some random pug black mage
Yeah.
does in a dungeon. Like, you could do it.
I still use Blue Mage for free returns.
Oh,
Because I just
yeah.
self-destruct and go back. Blood warp.
I liked the idea of Blue Mage, and one thing that I really wanted for it was in order to get the spells, first have a use for the spells. So like it's kind of like if there's a use to use them, then I'll care about wanting to get them more, right?
Yeah.
So if I care about wanting to get them, then to make it more fun to get them is if I had to go in there as all Blue Mages, which is what they're doing. So that's definitely nice, because before you could just go into a primal and you could just be like, okay, we'll do half and half. You guys nuke it. The other Blue Mages will just sit over here, just fiddling their thumbs, and you'll get the spell that way. But now with this, like at least what the assumption is that like in the trailer that we saw, they're going to Thornton, and it was like all 8 blue mages, and they have to go in synced, and they have to go in without echo, and they have to clear it like that, and that could be really fun.
Yeah.
But what's the point? What am I going to use that spell for? Like, am I going to care to get that spell?
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes to a certain extent, it's like your collectors. And I
Yeah.
just realized something that Shield Hero is pretty much blue mage.
Kind of, yeah.
I thought of that right away. Yeah.
Now that you mention it, yeah.
I like that.
Uh-huh.
I wanna say though that what I brought up on Frosty's podcast Mog Talk is that there's this dichotomy of thought. Like, so as soon as they released the information of blue mage, right, there were people just furious on Twitter. They were flaming. They were so mad that it was a limited job. So there are two trains of thought. So take yourself with me. Come along.
Okay.
As we go for this ride through 2 different realities. One where they say we can't utilize blue mage in the way that Final Fantasy 14 is as an official job. We can't figure out a way to stay true to it and still have it work.
That's reality, right?
No, this is a reality where blue mage doesn't exist in Final Fantasy.
Oh, they're just saying no.
Just saying no. We can't do it. We want to make it for the content, but you can't actually play it. So
no.
So we're not going to do it. And then people are going to say, well, I would just like something. Just give us something to go around in the open world with. That would be fine. I just let us queue in together. Something is better than nothing, right? That's one train of thought. Now we have our reality where they're like, well, that's what we're going to do. Everything that people would want, and now people are like, why even do it at all? You just bastardized it. It's garbage now. It's trash. Why can't we even take it? I want to main.
I see what
you
mean.
Yeah. So you have these. They would be dissatisfied no matter what. It was the grass is greener on the other side, kind of a thing. The alternate reality would be the best one.
I see what you meant there.
Now, having played it for a while and seeing how much it's died off and how little there is to do in the content with it. I mean, it could just be a community thing that people just didn't catch on to it, or it wasn't that big of a deal.
No,
people.
there's no incentive. There's nothing to do.
Yeah,
it needs something to do. So.
Yeah, it needs something. The main bit of content for it is the Carnival, which is single player.
You could do it in a day.
Yeah, so not great. It's fine enough. I saw people do it. I lost interest in like 3 fights.
Yeah,
it was that. Granted. That's me saying I like having enemies with different weaknesses and stuff that you have to be creative on, but I like having a party. I like having a team doing stuff on my own. It just gets really old pretty quick.
One thing that they might do is if they continue down this limited job path, is they keep adding limited jobs, and now there's limited job content that you can do in a limited job party. So I know they've mentioned Beastmaster and Puppet Master.
No. Stop with no more limited jobs. No, we don't need it.
And so we have like 3 or 4 limited jobs down the line, and now we have instances that are limited job only, and you can start going in with a party.
So that's what I'm most afraid of, though, is because I want those to be like real jobs.
Yeah, I know you do, but it comes down to it's like that's how you add longevity to blue mage is you give it other things to play with, and if you have to do this to other. You have to do what they did to Blue Mage to other jobs,
or they're wasting
to make
their time.
Blue Mage not suck.
Yeah,
no,
or they're just flat out wasting their time.
That's gonna take 4 expansions to get there.
Yeah,
it's 4 expansions of limited jobs to get there.
Yeah, longevity,
and
that's how they get you.
And then they're like, the problem is like they're shoehorning themselves. They're like, in order to keep this job relevant, they need to make content for it specifically. So like everything else that they make in the game, you can't enjoy with it.
Yeah.
So I think it's what the kind of approach they're doing now is like Blue Mage can do all of the content in the game. It just does it late. So which is what I'm saying by depending on how this plays out, it could be really fun. Like because they're forcing you to be a Blue Mage. Everybody has to be a blue mage and go into Thornton and go into these extreme fights and relearn them and as blue mages and beat it like that. That could be really fun. The only thing that worries me is if there's a reason to even do that in the first place to get the spells. Like what am I going to, after I get those things, what am I going to do with the spells?
Yeah.
Like I guess technically you could be like, okay, I challenge Thornton to get Heavenly Heal, and that way I have a new special attack that I can use on another extreme fight to beat that.
Yeah.
So, or like, you know how they, even in the trailer, they were all using the shield thing. You have to go get the shield thing even to
Right.
do Thornton in the first place. So like, that's cool. Like, that's definitely alluring to me. I will try it out, but
Yeah, I don't mind the grind in that aspect when it came to getting the blue mage abilities. I'm happy that they're at least doing it on the off patch, so it's not 5.1, it's 5.15.
yeah,
Or is it 1.1 or 1.5?
1.5. It's 1.5.
Excuse me. So at least people will be free to go do that if they're not doing ultimate. So there's casual content and there's the hardcore content.
Yeah.
But that was really fun to me to kind of get to relive that old world MMO feel. Just go around with a party and everybody was farming and everybody was super cool with each other.
Cool.
It was a lot of fun just to kind of get that nostalgia, and I liked it. But at the same time, I could see it still working somehow in Final Fantasy 14.
As a job?
As a job, yeah, I think they could do something for it.
I think they could.
But I don't know. Would that be fun for people? Would that appease the diehards who wanted Blue Mage in its original form or whatever? It's just, I don't know. I have ideas for Beastmaster so it wouldn't have to be a limited job and so that they don't have to rely on pet AI. Because that's their issues right now.
Yeah.
So it's like just I would be happy with it being like flavor, having your pets or being able to level up and do something on the side to change the pet glamour or something like that.
Oh,
you
pet-
can change
If
it.
we can't even get Eggy Glamour,
pet
I don't know if we can
glamour.
get
They
Pet
already,
Glamour.
but they already have them in the game.
Pet
they
glamour.
They already have different models of beasts in the game, so you just change them out like
Right.
that. But for Eggies,
They already have Eggies in the game too. They have Sephiroth Eggy. They got other Eggies in the
You'll
game.
get banned if you do
They're
that.
not-
You can't stream that. You can't stream
No,
that.
I mean they're in the real game.
Well, yeah, but you don't have it.
I don't have it.
If you use Sephiroth Eggy, all of a sudden your HP is going to be like.
Yeah. I had a golden Bahamut too.
So
I think that's good for Blue.
oh, okay.
It got too depressing.
He's upset about that.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'd love it though. I would love it because I see Beastmaster as a dual axe. It could be anything. You don't. You can be like Drake, but what about just make your suggestions? I don't care. Just this is what I'm thinking because this is what I played before. I'm not going to say the game that I played it in because it's going to make people mad. It was Final Fantasy 11.
Zelda.
But I could see like dual axe and then certain abilities depending on what pets you had either equipped or out or whatever would change the effect on it. So you would change your rotation based on like what pets you had, and that would either change your playstyle or give you some flexibility.
Sounds so nice.
I think that'd be cool. So like you do this certain attack, all of a sudden you do like a spin attack or something, and then the wolf comes up behind you, like falls off your shoulders and then bites the enemy, and then comes out and there's a bleed, and that's your dot. And then you switch out to
making me want cool
a
things.
falcon and stuff like that. I think it would be cool.
It would be cool. All right. Alexander?
PogChamp.
Palexander.
Palexander.
Good old Palexander.
So both of you guys did Alexander, right?
That was
All you guys did Midas and Creator
Technically.
fully?
we did
No,
Gordius
not
1,
fully.
Gordius 1, Midas 1 and 2, and then we did all of Creator. We got stuck on A2.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'll let Corey talk about his friends who were with us at the time who are no longer with us as to why so some of that we didn't get through at the time.
We did our best to get through too, but
Yeah.
our best was not enough.
No.
And I don't know. We only saw Enrage maybe 2 or 3 times tops.
Yeah.
I only remember getting to Enrage once.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we couldn't get to it again, and we just kind of took a break. And
Well,
it's like,
2
okay.
was bad.
2 was not fun.
2 was a bad fight.
It was not a fight. It was like the second boss of Amarat. It was
Oh yeah.
it was something, but it wasn't a fight.
just a bunch of ads.
Yeah. So if there was like some overall boss, then it's like, okay, he summons this ad now, and then you have to deal with like him and the ads. I think that's a little bit more engaging and gives both of your tanks something to do. It's like, okay, you pick up this pack, and then we're just in dungeon teams and do whatever. But I don't like that kind of fight where it's just ads.
Oh yeah, I don't either. Do you think they're gonna have that in Ultimate?
A bunch of ads? No.
The
I don't think
ad
so.
part
I think we'll
with the
have Faust.
Gobwalker.
I think we'll have Faust. Oh, we might get the Gobwalker for something. Yeah.
Yeah, because they said everything.
I think
Everything includes the Gobwalker.
if they do it where we have to go in the Gobwalker and pull bombs away, totally okay with that.
Yeah.
If we have to then deal with a whole bunch of ads, maybe not so much. But if they do it like T4, if they refine it, I'd be totally okay with it because I really like T4. I liked tanking T4.
I like
didn't
T4 too.
DPS T4. T4 was fun to me. That
Yeah.
was you having to coordinate. Okay, like that was when you really had to figure out when am I using my cooldowns? Because when the Juggernaut came out, you better hit something. Whoosh,
Oh my god, the
whoosh.
Dreadnoughts.
The Dreadnoughts were
Yes.
crazy, and the Knights ruined me for the future of rescue because they just be like yoink and bring you right into them. Like I'm
Yeah.
moving over here. No, just pull you
That's-
right back. They're like, no, you're getting back in here.
That's one of the mechanics that I like in Pepsi Man, which is what the fight starts off with. He has a part where he summons a hand and he'll mark one person and the hand will slowly go towards that person, and if it reaches, they die. So I'm hoping that's in there
That'd be
because
cool.
I love
would-
those mechanics.
That ends like one where you had to make the hands clap or go apart.
Yeah, do the high five or
Yeah.
the wave.
That's what I want.
Yeah, that'll probably be
then-
in there.
I don't know. I think the magnets started in 3.
Yep, that was the
So I
first
want
time
that
with
to come back.
magnets.
Um,
Magnets with a vengeance.
yeah, I don't
What-
remember the names of Pepsi Man's mechanics.
I
at
just
all.
remember like protein wave.
Yeah,
It's like a big one. Sluice. Sluice was like one of the first times I think that I could remember where you had to spread around the boss and the boss would shoot cones out
Yeah,
from the
Cleaver.
center. Yeah,
Basic
exactly,
Cleaver.
like E2S. Like it's
I'm gonna hug Jesse.
if I remember correctly, which I might not be, I think that was the first time we had to do that in a raid.
it
was
wouldn't
Sluice.
surprise me because it's like Alexander was like the first time they really started experimenting with different kinds of mechanics.
Mhm.
I didn't get to do Coil or Coil Savage, so
Right.
my knowledge is a little limited. But the level of experimentation from A1 to A12 was just massive compared to like all of the other fights that I'd seen in the game at the time. And so like everything was new all the time. Now going through Omega and Eden, the amount of like new mechanics is very small by comparison. And it's a really different experience progging it now because I'm like, okay, what can I compare this to get a frame of reference on how to deal with it?
Yeah, I mean that's how it was with a lot of stuff. Like Coil was also like what you're saying. It was every fight was always new mechanics. Like they experimented a lot. So that's why now it's like raiders who raided like back in the day, they'll go into new fights and they'll be like, oh, those are Earthshakers. Oh, those are Akmorns. Oh, those are towers.
Yeah.
So they'll just call stuff by those old names. But what do you guys think how Ukab had Golden Bahamut and Uwu had the glowing Ultima?
Mm.
What is ours gonna be in Alexander?
Well, we already had like super winged Alexander.
It's got to go beyond.
So like how do you it's like Super Saiyan God now. You gotta go
Super
blue.
Saiyan God Alexander.
What if
Yeah.
Alexander fuses with brute justice?
Oh no.
All of a sudden, brute justice just, like, opens up its top, and then Alexander just sits in there and just
Yeah.
it's winged, four-armed Alexander Alexander
So-
Justice.
What if all of them form into like almost
All
like a
three
Power
of
Ranger Megazord
Yeah.
kind of thing? Or like a Voltron type deal?
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then Manipulator comes in. Because Manipulator wasn't in the
Nisi
trailer.
Digititis.
So yeah, Manipulator comes in and gives everybody Nisi.
He shoots a Faust out of his chest.
It's like rocket launchers, just pew 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 pew. Faust. I think time could also be like a really cool mechanic too.
Yeah.
I would if they
Yeah.
don't add time stops and like the little portals from 12, I'm gonna be incredibly sad and disappointed. Because that
I'm-
was some of the most creative use of like time as a mechanic I've seen, and that's just so
Yeah.
neat.
I mean,
I loved
even
it.
more than that too.
Yeah.
Like go into like what if like you see like something happen, like you're going through a part of the fight and something's gonna wipe you, but you see something happen, kind of like how at the end of Ukab you die, but then Phoenix comes in and saves you. Maybe something like that, where like you're gonna wipe, but then all of a sudden some kind of Deus Ex Machina thing happens and you just get saved, and you're like, what was that? Why did we just live? And then later in the fight you find out that you're the ones that have to go and do that thing to save yourselves in the past.
I would dig it.
Yeah.
They did that in wasn't there a fight where they did that?
A12S
Was it
A12S
A12?
kind of had that, but it was like a story. It was like a story cutscene where like you go into the orb, the time gate thing that Corey said, and in the middle there you just see the story cutscene of you getting pushed out of the way.
Yeah.
So, but I mean like that, but implemented into a mechanic.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
So cool. And I think they could do it technologically speaking.
You saved yourself from A11, right.
Yeah,
that was what it was.
And so kind of like how I'm picturing it is like you're going through the fight, and so let's say we're fighting Pepsi Man, and then all of a sudden he's charging up his like raid wipe mechanic, and the floor drops out from under you, and now you're in Brute Justice's room.
Yeah.
And the mechanic was and in the last phase you have to deal with whatever mechanic and what it in the time gate, and then it opens up when you're done. It opens up the floor, saving you and putting you into the Brute Justice thing. Would be so now you're saving yourself both like in the timeline of the fight, but also like story wise, it's really cool. So like it gives you a phase transition, as well, which would be a kind of a neat way to do it.
And then paradoxes can happen, and if a paradox happens, you wipe.
Exactly.
You just die in the past, so you die now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is making me want to do it. I can't do it.
Instead of like your regular die animation, it does like the
You disintegrate.
it does like the
snap.
the snap where you
Thanos
just kind of
snap?
like go dust.
Oh
That would
no!
be so cool.
Yeah.
Felix,
Somebody
so
made
good.
the accuracy joke. Let's bring back accuracy, guys. Like we did that in Alexander. You have to have a special set of gear with accuracy.
Why is that the joke now? That would have been the joke with Ukab too.
Because we're going back.
Nobody
We're
said
going
that
back
with
in time to
Ukab.
Alexander.
Oh, what if he? Speaking of that too, like what if he sends you back in time to that patch? So
Oh no.
you play the game as your job as it existed at that time.
So what do
Oh,
Gunbreakers do? What do dancers do?
Gunbreakers don't. You die. You didn't exist.
You're just out of the fight.
You turn into a Dark Knight.
Oh god.
One thing I think is
If
neat
you're
about,
a warrior, you go paladin. Oh no, if you're a paladin, you go Dark Knight.
Yeah.
one thing I was talking to Drac about is like regarding like minimum. We did all these fights without a lot of the tools we have in our kits now. Like
Mhm.
for tanks, we have so much more mitigation and threat tools. It's like it's just so easy to deal with all the incoming damage, and so going through it, things are gonna have to hit really hard
Yeah.
to kind of like compensate for all the extra stuff we have, and they're gonna have to come out a lot faster. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how our kits integrate with the fights now, because it's so much different.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of hard to say. That's definitely hard to say. Like if they just put in like let's say Sluice. Like Sluice isn't gonna be hard for us at all.
No, it's not threatening.
But it was at the time.
Yeah.
That was like the first time there was ever like a pinwheel thing like that. So that was hard. But now that's child's play.
Yeah, it's like one of the easier things they can throw at us.
Yeah, we
bow
do.
tie it.
Yeah, we do that like a billion times in E2S. You know.
Yeah.
So, I don't. Yeah, that's
So
actually
I'm looking
very
at
true.
I'm looking forward to seeing what combinations of abilities they throw at us from the bosses.
Mm.
Because I don't think if they throw a single mechanic at us, I think it's almost like an insult to our like. It's like if you're going to an ultimate, throwing
Yeah.
one mechanic at somebody is basically insulting their intelligence.
Yeah, it is.
Especially if it's something we've seen before. It's like you've seen all these mechanics. Well, now it's like, how are you going to throw 3 or 4 of them at us at a time?
Okay, what's
really,
next?
really give us something to fear.
Yeah, like right in the beginning of Ukab, it was like twisters and like fireball into twisters, like all at the same time, and then the fireball stack right after that too. So it was like the movements that you had to do was like super compounded because they took those mechanics and put them together. So yeah, they could like what if like the tank, like you have to do the spread, but then the tanks are needing to bring the hands apart, so you have to take that into account. Like the tanks have to go to those positions to either bring the hands together or apart, and then the magnets. at the same time.
And so like you have to use the magnets to spread the hands on top of not hitting anybody else with your sluice wave.
Yeah.
And
the 3 puddles are on the ground too.
yeah. And so like that's the kind of stuff I'm looking forward to. Like what crazy stuff can they give me?
Woo-hoo. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it.
I'm still thinking about Alexander Megazord. That'd be so cool. Like, what if you got like real sleek? Like, remember the Gear contest winner? How it's like that futuristic Infinity Blade looking.
Who? What?
Do you not see those pictures?
What?
Where it's like this
what?
real sleek, like futuristic spacesuit design.
Of what?
Kind of like what's the game?
Metal Gear?
Crytek?
Crisis?
Crisis?
Yeah,
Your
like-
game? My computer can run that.
Yeah.
That's a very old man.
Yeah.
Riding gear?
Crisis. Is it the riding gear? Yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking like something like real sleek looking Alexander with these wings
Like-
and
Like Cruise Chaser model size, because Cruise Chaser is really sleek. Is what I think
Yeah.
of for sleek.
yeah, but he just stands there and he's standing there, arms crossed,
Yeah.
his wings out, and he just yeah, you're already
Just like now I hope you're ready.
Oh my god!
oh, I love it.
And he's got the super wings. Yeah, because Alexander has like really cool wings in the
Yeah, he
back.
does.
And, oh, yeah. I'm really hoping that they fuse. I
Yeah.
think that would be really
that'd
cool.
be so cool.
Yeah.
Alexander, but now he's hot. Archie, get on that shirt.
Oh no, he's hot.
Oh no, I'm hot.
Yeah, I don't think I can't really say too much more else about. I mean, we could really talk about like what we would want to see forever with.
Yeah.
I
with
want to see the
Ultimate.
weapons.
Mm.
I was
Yeah.
so mad at the expansion drop when Gunbreaker and Dancer didn't have weapons from the previous stuff.
Well, since we're
The
going
previous
back in time, we
Ultimate?
still
Even-
don't get it.
Even from Stormblood, like I would have,
Doesn't exist.
because people said like, oh, Samurai and Red Mage got stuff from before because it was only one expansion prior. So not getting Gunbreaker and Dancer stuff from like Alexander makes sense because they only had one expansion back. But they didn't even really. Did they? Is there? No, there isn't Omega stuff, but it's still like the glamour options on Gunbreaker and Dancer feel really limited, and I want the options and the ultimate weapons, the ultimate Alexander stuff will be really cool.
The if they put it like the reason why I wanted them to put the Gunbreaker and Dancer ultimate weapons in for Ukab and Uwu was to give those people that did it a reason to go back
Yeah.
and get like 2 more clears. So it would have just added a bunch of gameplay for not too much work. But whatever. What are the, because there's like 3 different models they could choose from. So which one would you guys like more? Because I like the Midas weapons the most.
I don't think I remember the Midas weapons.
It
They had
depends.
the balls floating. It was black and red color scheme, and they
No,
had the
that was-
balls.
that was Creator.
What?
Yeah,
That was Creator.
Creator. Midas
Oh,
was like kind of
you're
like
right.
a black and almost like a brass color with like a red
You're right.
glow.
I remember. Yeah, Midas. Yeah, Midas Black Mage weapon. I remember being like it had like a lantern. Like it had like. Yeah, it was
I-
like steampunk.
I want to say I really like the designs of Gordius weapons.
Gordius was like the crystal stuff.
Oh yeah,
That
Gordius
was
were
really
cool
cool.
too. Yeah.
So-
It
and they
really
would-
depends on the weapon
Mhm.
for me. Because like the
Mhm.
Paladin shield from Gordius is like my favorite Paladin shield in the game, easily. But like the Warrior axe was kind of ugly,
Mhm.
and the Midas axe was better than that. But the Creator axe is one of the best axe models in the game,
I have a
just due to
feeling-
like scale, size, and like
Mm.
how sleek it was.
I have a feeling they'll do creator weapons just because it's the final one.
Yeah, probably.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
hoping for.
Because that's what they did with Coil.
I think that I think the Gordius ones, because they complement the glows really well.
Yeah.
So that's just my thought. They might do something cool because you know how like the weapons is Nexus and I forget the other ones, but they had like the designs, like the patterns over the weapon.
The light?
Yeah,
The
they'd
light
have-
that went around it?
either the light that went around it or like I think with
The Zetas?
the Zeta, yeah, like the Paladin
The
shield, how it
Novus,
has the-
Nexus, and all those.
not the glows, but it would
Not
be
the
it
glows.
was the last step of those. I think it was the
Oh.
Nexus ones that they had like
Mhm.
the you take it out and then there's, or actually I like how the Bahamut ones have the outer
Uh-huh.
thing that like once you take it out.
Yeah, it
there's,
has like
go
another
around-
layer that they add on.
That was like different like clocks and symbols and
Yeah, I
time
know what you're
things
talking
on it. That'd be neat.
Oh,
Yeah.
time weapons.
That'd be super cool. I'd like that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they said the glow. They said the glow would be a little different this time, but they were but like he couldn't explain it. But he says that all the time. Whenever they make like a new glow type of thing, like for a relic, he'll always be like, "Oh, the glow's different, but we can't explain it. You'll just see. It's cool."
Yeah,
That's usually how
That's fine.
they explain it. Crafting and gathering stuff, I can't really talk about
No.
too much.
Well, honestly, they didn't go over very much to begin with. So they
Are
just,
people happy?
we don't know.
Oh, okay.
We don't know yet. They're going to consolidate some of the abilities, and they're going to make it so that the UI elements, which apparently took a lot of space, I don't doubt it. It looks really good, where you can see this item requires these items.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that's going to help, unless you can be like, I want to craft this. Oh, well, you have the mats to make this and this, so go to here and then make that, then go to here, then make that. If that's easier, then that would be really cool. I don't know what abilities they're getting rid of or what they're combining or any of that.
Mhm.
I'm excited for Ishgard. I want to do Ishgard. I'm starting to sit on my materia now, so that I can just meld the new gear at this point.
Your crafting gathering
Yeah.
materia.
Speaking of melding materia, I'm sitting on a lot of materia just because gearing up tanks now sucks.
Yeah, because your spell speed. or
Wait,
your
why
skill
does it
speed.
suck?
Because for like at least for Gunbreaker, I need the GCD of 2.38, and I have every time I get a new piece of gear, I have to remeld my entire set to get it right and still be like optimal in my melds.
Okay.
And because all of the skill speed is loaded onto the chess piece. There's like 400 something skill speed on the chess piece from 4. So until you can clear 4, you're
Oh, you really want
shifting
that.
around your stuff all the time.
Oh. Just don't be optimal.
I can't. I gotta carry
Can't
Drek
help
because he
it.
keeps dropping Enochian.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you got to be optimal. I
that
guess.
0.1% wipe was not me yesterday. Still blaming Sophie for jinxing it. She's like easy one shot.
Yeah, easy one shot.
Easy one shot, and then we
Uh-huh.
get to
Hour of prog.
0.1% and we wiped. And then we took an hour to even get back there.
Oh no.
It was a rough night. It was a rough night. Then after that, then they gave me opportunities to screw up. So, but
Before then,
everybody-
you played
I
perfect.
did pretty well.
Yeah.
I did pretty dang
You
well.
did pretty well until the lag kicked in.
My
Ah.
leyline strat worked pretty well too, with dropping crashing down. I have a thing where I set the ley lines on the first spot for DPS, even if I don't have it, and then I move away, and then I just zip back, and then you don't get ley lines at all during that phase, anyway. So
Right.
if I have to move from that spot after that because of RNG, then it's just like, oh well, I lost it anyway, and it's going to be back up when I'm going to use it anyway.
Right.
For the next part, what I'd be saving for it. But if it works out and RNG is good, then I get it. Then it's right there.
I
I'm
like
right in the
that
right
kind of
spot.
play.
It was perfect.
That's what I do. It's probably not optimal, but that's what I do too.
I don't even.
I
know.
always do those kind of things.
I don't know how you'd be
I'm
optimal
like-
at that point because you have to move so much.
I don't know. There's
I don't know if you've gotten to that.
no, I haven't done Titan at all.
Yeah.
We're doing it this week though, because we decided we're like, if we just do the 1 day a week on Fridays, we're spending the time clearing 1 through 3, and then we're like, oh, we only have like an hour now to do Titan. So instead, we just spent an hour yesterday and we just cleared 1 through 3, and we're like, okay, so now cool. Now we got time to do Titan on Friday.
There you go.
So that's what we'll be doing on Friday. First time Titan.
Good luck.
Yes.
What kind of tanks are you running?
What tanks do we have? The
Yeah.
good ones.
Yeah, but like, what do they play?
The good tanks. Paladin and Gunbreaker.
Oh, so you have a good tank. Okay.
Both of the good tanks.
Gunbreaker is sometimes phenomenally frustrating, just due to when Gnashing Fang and No Mercy are up at the same time, and
Mhm.
while you have to move for mechanics. And I'm just like, I kind of want to rip my eyes out a little bit, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun. So I kind of balance that out.
I like Gunbreaker because it feels like a DPS.
Yeah, it's fun until you have to move the boss, and then I'm like, oh, I'm in the middle of my really fast part of my rotation. I'm not moving the boss. You can wait.
Yeah. The one thing that I wanted to ask about for you guys, just to finish it up for the crafting and gathering, what would the changes have to be to like get people who are adamantly against it or just not interested to be willing to even give it a shot?
Nothing.
Either nothing. You could just
Nothing.
I have
they can
no
do.
desire to get into crafting at all. There's like no incentive. There's no real incentive for me to get into it. There's nothing that I want. I can
Money.
repair my gear at just the random person in the
Yeah.
FC house all the time.
I
And
lied.
that's all I need.
I lied. There's one thing. if they let me use the glamour from the craft and gathering
Right. Yeah, it's all
gear on battle classes, I'll do it. I'll level it. That's it.
I gave crafting my best shot, and my best shot was Savannah making me all of the lev turn-ins to get my culinarian to 39, and
Yeah.
me just having to go over there and turn them in.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm still like, I'm all right.
Well, now that you're over, I'll just make you all the stuff and level them for you.
If you want to level my crafters for me, more power to
while
you.
you catch up on Overlord, I'll work on your crafters.
I'm busy making new friends.
Yeah.
I've been doing my absolute best.
Yeah.
You can tell. I'm over there trying to read all of a sudden.
Yeah. Ari is Corey's new best friend. Or Corey is her new best friend. She won't cuddle with me on the couch. She always wants to like play or something. She still wants to interact with me.
Mhm.
But anytime we're on the couch, she has got the pillow on his lap and she is laying down and she's just talking to him and going over stuff. And she's like, she had him read her a book.
Yeah, I
the
read her
other
a
night.
story yesterday. I actually read her another book
You,
today.
you
Yeah,
found
yeah.
a friend
Yeah.
your own age,
She-
Corey.
Yeah, I know, right? Somebody I can talk to.
When we were going bowling, she was holding my hand going in. She let go, walked over to Corey, grabbed his hand, walked inside.
Yeah. I was like, you've been replaced,
I'm
brother.
like, I'm chocolate.
Oh my goodness.
She was too adorable.
All right. So patches on. Oh my god! It's like this coming Tuesday.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's in a little less than a week, and I get my near fix. I'm excited.
There you go. I was gonna have you guys educate me on it, but it's fine. You can talk to me about it.
No, you got to play it yourself,
I
dude.
can share my Steam library with you
That's
while you
right.
craft.
That's right.
And so that
yes,
way you
the-
can
Yeah.
play it between those and while I read.
There we go.
If you like good games, you'll like it, and if you don't like it, you have bad taste. That's all there is to it.
That's what he said about Kingdom Hearts, and we haven't even gotten to that.
Well, you could play it.
I can. I'm gonna have to do it off stream sometime.
All right. I think that'll be it
Yep.
for live letter discussion.
I'm pretty happy with what we got over. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll have this up on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. If you guys have any other suggestions or requests for podcast, what do you call them, hosting sites that you want to download them off of, let us know, and we will try our best to accommodate. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Check out the links down below to watch us and follow us on Twitter. Make sure that you have the YouTube link. If you're watching this on YouTube, obviously you have it, but it is youtube.com/user.
It doesn't have a URL. It's just Dualcast Show.
Just Dualcast
it doesn't
Show?
have a URL yet.
Oh no, okay, we're
No.
not fancy enough yet. So just look up Dualcast Show.
Yep.
All one word. Is it all one word on YouTube?
All of them are Dualcast Show.
Yep,
They're all
okay.
the same because
All
we're
the
good
same.
at branding over here.
Twitter and YouTube. So go ahead
Yeah.
and check those out, guys. I really appreciate all you guys' biggest following yet today. So thank you for the continued support. Glad that we that you guys are enjoying this stuff, and we hope to keep bringing you some quality content.
Yes.
That's the memes.
Yes. And thank you, Corey, for being on. Would you like to say
Thank you
anything?
guys for having me. I appreciate it. Hopefully I didn't embarrass you guys too bad. I don't want to make a mockery of your show.
You're not embarrassing. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming on. And yeah, thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Goodbye.